bronche, that's how we say brunch.
Here's to the ladies who say basic with their lunch.
You want that bochinche?
Paquete con pinche, you know what they said?
Not too busy, glasses clinking.
Aquí en esta mesa se respeta como ñón.
Si la copa está llena, yo te doy la bendición.
So what if we get ratchet?
We from the Bronx.
That's it.
Don't get it twisted.
We be going to Manhattan. Be a queen.
Be a boss.
Ladies who brunch and poppin' off.
Hey, we pop and pop it off. We pop.
All right. The episode's about to start.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Ladies Who Bronche. I'm Julissa.
What's good, everybody? This is Skittles.
And this week, we have a beauty lifestyle blogger, Colombiana, super mom, Jessica. Who the fuck are you?
Hey there, everyone. My name is Jessica Flores, and I am a content creator from New York City. I cover fashion, beauty, travel, lifestyle, you name it. I cover it all.
Nice.
And your channel is called Domesticated Me.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. So Jessica and I were both part of YouTube Next Up class of 2016. And that's actually how we met the first time. And we were on each other. We were on... they split us up into different teams based on, like, I don't know, the content that you made and stuff like that. And so we were on the same team called Something Fierce.
Yes, I love that. So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started with Domesticated Me.
Sure. So I tell people that I had many lives. When I was in college, I started as an events planner. And then I had this love of comedy always since I was a little kid. Like, I watched Saturday Night Live before I should have been allowed to watch Saturday Night Live. And it's because my parents spoke Spanish and didn't understand what was on the television. But I'd always had this love for sketch comedy, stand-up. And so when I was old enough in college, I started going to stand-up shows, and then eventually I started producing my own stand-up comedy shows.
So basically, you're like a real-life Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
I haven't seen that show.
Oh, my God. All right.
Need to.
Everybody go watch the show. It's amazing. I love it. It's funny. Comedy, Domesticated Me. I think you should watch it.
Okay, no, for sure, definitely. I've had many people recommend it to me, so definitely. So, so when I was in college, I started working on a show called Tell Your Friends, and it was a workout room for established writers and performers. So we had people from Saturday Night Live, we had people from The Daily Show, Colbert Report, Late Night, and then just like Jim Gaffigan and Louis Black would come in, Dimitri Martin, and try out new materials. And so I did that for like about 3 or 4 years. And then I met my husband, who's a political scientist, and then his best friend who worked in politics, and they just kind of sucked me into the political world.
Wow.
I started working for his best friend who was running for a campaign. I helped him get elected, started working for him in the state Senate, and then wound up being the body person for the New York City Council Speaker, Melissa Mark Viverito, who was the first Latina to hold a citywide position. And for those of you who aren't familiar with New York City politics, that position is the second most powerful position in the city after the mayor.
Hey, that's dope.
And you were like what you called a body, right?
Yes.
Can you explain what that is?
Yes.
Because I know I didn't know what that was.
Sure. So they call it a body person because you're literally the body that is next to your principal, the elected official, always. So if anyone's watched Veep, it's basically Gary.
Gary.
I was the one.
Gary.
That was me. I was the one with the heavy bag with all the stuff. Who knew how to be on schedule, who pulled her in meetings, told her who she, where she was going and who she was meeting and what the purpose of the meeting is, and running all that information. Yes,
I can't get the image of Gary out of my head.
Well, I'll also maybe another thing would be it sounds very Anne Hathaway, Devil Wears Prada.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Except I'm sure she's not mean like that.
Oh yeah. No.
Well, there are a lot of characters in politics. I mean.
True.
You meet a lot of characters.
Yeah.
Have you ever met AOC?
Yeah, she's my congresswoman.
Look at that.
She served me pizza at the Q at the Queensboro.
Oh, that's
in
so
Jackson
dope.
Heights. Yeah,
and she's literally like right on the line. So I live in Parkchester, and so first of all, she's been in my hood every time I see something comes out that she's there. I am not there, and there was a time she was literally a corner away from my corner, and I was like, why have I not fucking met her yet? Like, it is. Anyway, but I say that to say, like, yeah, she represents the district that's right next to mine and Queens, and a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people think she just represents the Bronx because she's from the Bronx, but she also represents Queens.
Oh yeah, and she represents I live in Jackson Heights, which just happens to be considered one of the epicenters of the young progressive movement. So she's my congresswoman. My assembly member is Catalina Cruz, and she's the first dreamer to hold office in New York State and one of the very first in the country. I think one of only two to hold a political position as a former dreamer. And our state senator is also amazing. We have a very cool neighborhood that's very into politics and
it's
social
poppin'.
movement.
So Jessica Flores, what is it? Would it be 2024?
Never. Never. No, thank you.
Yeah, what is it like in the political world? Like, just sort of, I find that, especially with the election coming up, there's a lot of work being put towards getting millennials to vote and to participate. And at this point, I was reading something this morning that said that millennials have outpopulated baby boomers. And so if we all literally went out to vote, like there's a very strong chance that we could overturn a lot of what's happening now. Clearly you don't lean Trump based off of who you work with. But what are some of the like trends or that you're seeing in as to why younger people are not voting?
I think because now more than ever we can see the effect of politics and how it's affecting us in our lives, especially with like the gun rights movement. Kids are getting killed all the time, and that's one of the reasons why people are finally waking up and seeing that they need to do something, that they need to be more active. Yeah. I think it's a great moment, but hopefully it continues, and it's not just a movement. It's not just, a retweet or an Instagram pic. It actually gets people involved. It's crazy how little of our population actually votes and is involved. I mean, do you know who your council member is? Do you know what a state senator does as opposed to like an assembly person? Right. It starts with education. I think it's very important for us to have real civics classes in our schools to educate our population about who their elected officials are and why they're important. And it's also crazy why when people actually get involved, it's during the presidential races, when the local races are the ones that have the most direct impact in your lives. Yep. So hopefully, like I said, it's not just a trend, and it's not just, every 4 years. It's hopefully people are starting to reach out to their local elected officials and seeing who they are, what they're about, and getting involved that way.
Yeah, absolutely. And fun fact about me, my first job was working for my council member, Annabelle Palma, at the time. And she, I learned a lot being there because at first I was just going to file papers. And then they were like, because I was in 8th grade. And they were like, okay, like we have an 8th grader. This is cute. And once upon a time, I thought I was going to be mayor of New York City. Like very, very seriously thought that was going to be my career path. And so I walked in there like, you just gonna have me file some papers? Let me answer that phone. And they started giving me actual responsibilities to the point where they were kind of like, this is kind of scary that you can do this job and you're an 8th grader. Like, what the fuck, right? But like what I learned sort of sitting there and dealing and listening to the constituents was that, holy shit, like even if it was something as small as like, well, this corner on this block needs a lamppost because it's dark and like there's high rates of crime and stuff like that. Like, especially being that young at the time, that's what I cared about the most, was the stuff that was happening literally in the Bronx, and that we were the office that really pushed that influence. And that as much as I thought in my head, oh, well, President Clinton or Bush don't care about us, but they really, like, that is so granular to them that it's something that they would never touch. But the way we are taught politics, as you mentioned, does not ensue this idea that somebody like Annabelle Palma is the person that I need to be up their ass to be like, hey, we need this for our schools, we need this, Anyway, I say that to say that little bit of education, I think really, really, although I had a passion for politics, it really fucking like exploded my desire to be involved in politics and to pay attention. That said, in the Senate and all that shit, there's still a lot of knowledge that I don't have. And, my passion has died, but I think that hopefully, social media makes it easier for people to get involved and learn. But at the same time, I think it doesn't. Sometimes it becomes a place for memes and jokes. And so people are seeing politicians and seeing their faces, but they're not really learning anything about their responsibilities or platforms, because the internet can very quickly turn everything into a joke.
Well, the other thing why it's hard to get people really active especially in New York City, is because we live in this little blue bubble.
Yes.
So for the most part, most people are on the same page as to legislative things that they're going to do and push forward.
Right.
So it's like, I don't have to call my state senator. I know that they're going to vote pro this, pro that, but you really can't. You really can't trust that they're going to do the right thing. Or your right thing, what you consider the right thing. So that's why you do have to be involved. You do reach out and say, hey, what does my council member think about this? What does my assembly member think about this? My community needs this. Who do I speak to get this?
Right. Yes. Oof, we went on a political tangent before we lose Juan.
Yeah, lost me.
We lost you already.
So all of that said, I started Domesticated Me because I got sucked into politics and I needed a creative outlet.
Yes.
So that's how Domesticated Me was born, was that I got married and I had a kid and I'm not domestic in any way. So it was just a play. It was a joke just to be like, I would tell people that I'm so bad in the kitchen that I would burn water. So it was just like me going on this journey. And that's how it started.
Oh, I love that. Well, when you go out to brunch now, when you can, as I know you probably don't get to go often because you're a busy, busy mom, what is your choice brunch bebida? What are you drinking when you go to brunch?
I'm going to go with a classic mimosa.
That's been the answer of the season. Mimosa.
It's just the spot. It's nice. Bubbly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Classic.
Do you like classic orange juice, or is there any different juices that you've tried that you kind of love?
No, I haven't ventured off. But I will say now that we're thinking about it, so mimosa is always a classic, but after meeting my husband, who's a New Orleanian and likes spicy food, I'm into Bloody Marys every once in a while, too.
And I think the best looking Bloody Mary I've ever seen was in New Orleans, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah, because they had this big, two big shrimp, two big jumbo shrimp, a strip of bacon, and it looked like a meal,
serious.
My thing
honestly.
is I'm not into tomato soup. So I don't think I would ever get into a Bloody Mary, but I want one that has shrimp on it or a fucking burger. I saw one that had
cheese,
a burger on top.
I had one of those in Punta Cana at the Nickelodeon resort.
Yo, that resort is popping apparently. Did you love it?
Oh, the best time.
Yeah.
I had the best time.
I think I'm gonna have to go to the Nickelodeon resort.
yeah,
Use my
super
nieces as an
fun.
excuse.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and they had one of those giant Bloody Marys with the burger and the shrimp and all the stuff in it. Yeah.
Oh,
really
that's
good.
amazing.
So then when you do get the chance to get away and you're having your mimosas, what are you eating? What is your choice brunch meal?
So, God, I am so basic. I love a good avocado toast. And I could just go classic omelet too. Sometimes it hits the spot. I like it with a little bit of feta cheese with the extra saltiness there, with some veggies. Mm-hmm. Those are my two choices.
What is your favorite spot to brunch at in New Orleans?
Oh man, that's hard.
Top five.
God, I'm like, let's see. I really they have a couple of markets where they have different vendors.
Yes.
And so that to me is just my favorite place for brunch, for lunch, because you can just go there and not know what you want, and you can go savory, you could go sweet, you could go something really traditional. So I like those markets. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I've only been to New Orleans once, and I'm already itching to go back. Elizabeth's restaurant was the spot that I went to, and that we had brunch there, and it was some of the best brunch I've ever had to date. So New Orleans to me is like a food.
Oh yeah.
Mecca.
Oh,
It's I did not have one. I even went into it looked like a bodega / 7-Eleven, but they sold chicken. It was also a chicken spot at the same time. Bro, our chicken spots look like shit compared to that. The food was phenomenal. Anyway, I'm clearly very hungry right now. So tell us a little bit about what it was like going out to eat when you were a kid.
So I'm Colombian. I'm half Colombian, half Ecuadorian, half Colombian, but I was raised with my Colombian family.
Oh, shit. I didn't shout out Ecuador in the beginning.
That's okay. But I grew up with my Colombian side, so that's the side that I'm more familiar with and in touch with, unfortunately. But so eating out for us was every weekend, Saturdays, you would go to Jackson Heights, where the really Colombian neighborhood, and you would go to a Colombian restaurant, and we ordered the same food every single Saturday. And to this day, I will never forget this. One day I was like, let's eat something different. Let's just go someplace different. She's like, okay, there's a new restaurant that opened up. Well, we went to a new Colombian restaurant and ordered the same food. And thankfully, a lot has changed since then. Yeah. But that was going out for us. Every weekend, it was like going to the Colombian restaurant and eating the same Colombian food.
What was the order?
Bandeja paisa.
Bandeja. I had a feeling. I was like, I bet you they're getting bandeja.
I don't know what that is. What is that? I've never had it.
It is like everything but the kitchen sink. It is rice, beans, piece of steak, piece of chicharrón. Comes with like a potato and a piece of yuca. It's massive.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
And you could get like a mini version, but you don't. You just get the full version, and then you just sleep the rest of the day because then you don't have any. You need to digest.
So tell us, what is your favorite bochinche topic to discuss over a meal?
It's always family. It's always family stuff. Like, what's this person off to? What kind of crazy decision this person made? What's this person spending their money on?
It's always the crazy decisions and never the positive. We always get together to talk about the crazy shit family's doing.
My family looks at me because I'm the one who's like, oh, just let people live. Like, that's who they are. You just need to appreciate them for who they are. I do like listening, but I'm just like, don't do that. Like, no, don't say that.
I'm that person too. At my family table, I'm like, guys, like, come on, let them live. But then they'll be like, no, porque, y tú te crees que ella le dijo a tal de tal. And I'll be like, ¿qué? Ay, Dios mío. And then I catch myself and I'll be like, no, pero son cosas, tú sabes, la juventud. And I'll be like in the back, like, damn, yeah, nah, she wildin'. Like, yeah, totally. All right, and now we're moving into our cheers moment where we cheers dope people and dope shit. Spring is coming, guys.
I can't even believe it.
I'm excited as hell.
Oh, yeah.
I could not be any more ready for winter to be over. I do not like winter.
I love spring. I just feel like the fact that it's coming makes me more aware of time passing.
Yeah.
Because then it's spring, then it's summer, and then you're back into the winter. Yeah. It's crazy.
To be fair, though, this winter wasn't the most brutal winter.
I feel like I'm always like, but is it coming? Is it still happening? Because like you don't know. I remember one like. Valentine's Day that there was like a blizzard, and so I'm just always afraid. Like I'm like I can't, like it might still be coming. Like I don't know. So
matter of fact, let me check the forecast real
Right.
quick before.
No, really, because even like this year, 1 week it was freezing. And then the next week you'd be wearing like shorts.
Yeah.
Wow.
Tank tops.
So traveling is so hard because we're going to go to Disney World next week. And I remember that like 2 years ago, we went in March and it was freezing in the morning. And now I'm looking at it and it looks like it's still warm. And I'm like, I don't know what to pack. Like, do I trust my eyes or do I trust my memories? But then it's like, well, who knows what the weather is like right now.
So speaking of packing then, so now that spring is coming, what excites me about spring and any weather that's not winter is the fact that I don't have to be wearing a heavy ass coat. Because I feel like heavy coats like need to be their own fashion statement because nothing underneath matters at that point. But share with me some of your favorite spring looks, fashions. Are you a scarf girl, jean jacket girl? Give us a little light on that.
Oh, I love good jackets. Oh my God. I love every type of jacket. Military, blazer jackets. Like, I love all kinds of jackets. I'm all for jackets. I'm digging the puffy sleeves right now.
Okay, yeah.
Like, you're going to see a lot of that in stores, and I'm digging it. It's just a cute little element to, like, whatever t-shirt top. Like, you can find it in t-shirt material, but just that extra little...
I'm seeing a lot of denim happening. Do you think that denim for spring is like a thing?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely. And all kinds of cuts. Like, you have your classic cuts, straight leg, skinny, but you're going to see a lot of, like, wide leg, like, puffy thigh area, which not everyone can pull off. Like, I don't need. But it's interesting to see, like, pleated, like, mom jeans. They're still in. Yeah. And coming in all kinds of shapes and sizes. So you're definitely going to see a lot of that.
There's specifically this one denim jacket that I saw on Fashion to Figure that I want to get for my birthday. But it's like it has fringes that like literally it looks like it goes down to your knees. So it's like a denim jacket, but it has like
Oh my god,
fringes.
that's like
I want
80s,
it.
right? Like 80s rock bands.
You know, all my pictures
my
are gonna
God.
be like this.
Just walking
With my
around
arm
like
up.
you're fine. Just
I love. See, for me, it's like because my favorite season is the fall. But I still in the spring try to pull some of my like boot action that I have that happens in the fall. So depending on what colors, I try to stay away from the brown tones because I'm like, all right, it's spring. We want to try to pop a little bit of color, but I'm bad with color. I'm always like, oh, this color doesn't look good on me. This color doesn't.
I
look
am
good
a
on me.
terrible fashion blogger sometimes when it comes to that because it's like, okay, this is the year I'm gonna try prints and I'm gonna try color and I'm like walking out in black always.
All
And I
the
was like, it's the New Yorker in me. I can't help it.
Yeah.
Like, I love black.
Black is like the New York uniform. Like
Oh, yeah.
truly,
Yeah.
truly, like all black is like
Well,
so
'cause it looks good.
always. It never fails me. And even times where I'm like dressed in a way that's like, bitch, you didn't even try. If it's in all black and I have just good like jewelry statement
yeah.
pieces on top of it, all of a sudden it doesn't matter that it's technically leggings and a t-shirt. But if I tie the t-shirt right or if I do the thing right,
Add a belt.
I'm all dressed. Yes, yes, and stuff like that. So what are some of your favorite accessories? So we talked jackets. You just mentioned belts. Because I have zero fashion sense, essentially, is what I'm trying to get at. So I'm trying to get these tips. Because this summer, this spring, I'm trying to get a little cute. You know, I'm trying to bag a man. So I'm trying to look a little cute.
Okay. I think you know what's in, and I as a mom, I really appreciate it. Is like the utility look. So like you see the bags, you know, like the Louis Vuitton pochette accessoire. I have it, and it's like I love it so much. I just wish like if cargo pants are in, and like those photography vests where it has like a million pockets, like if those would come back, I would be in heaven. Because give me the pockets. I could put pacifier here, put wipes over here, hand sanitizer
Yes.
over there. So I'm into it. But like utility stuff, that's still for some reason like still in. You're gonna see a lot of that. Yeah.
I'm excited for that. I also carry a lot of shit. I always have like book bags, and I was trying to like get rid of the like big book bag, and so for most of the winter, I was actually sporting like a mini little book bag. But I'm like, fuck, that's not doing it anymore. Like I need to start carrying laptops and all that stuff.
They also just need to start putting more pockets in women's clothing because as someone who likes to dip and dabble and has spent the majority of my life wearing men's clothing, the amount of women's pants that don't have pockets
It's crazy.
is so fucking frustrating when you're used to having pockets all the time.
That's
Yeah.
why people freak out when if you find a dress with pockets, people freak
yeah.
out. It's
Give
like,
me a dress with pockets
Oh my
any motherfucking day. Yeah. I am on stage accepting whatever fucking award I'll get in my life. Give me some motherfucking
So you could just say, it has pockets.
So I just like standing. Also for posing, like on a red carpet. Like I like that lax, like, it's not always like, but that you can just like sort of chill. It's a bit more authentic to me and how I like to dress. Bueno, all I know is that I'm excited for the warmth. I'm not excited for the allergies, but I'm definitely excited for the warmth.
Jesus be a Zyrtec.
Cool.
All right, so now we're going to move into our Tuta Loca Es, where we call out motherfuckers for doing the most. And so, spill the tea, Jessica. What's going on with Johnny Depp?
oh my God. So for the last week. So we know that 2 years ago, Johnny Depp got divorced from Amber Heard.
Right.
Amber Heard went to police station, got a protective order, says that she was physically abused by Johnny Depp.
Yes.
The world supported her as they should. When a victim comes out and says, my husband has been beating on me, all this, and there's photos of her with like a bruise going into the police station, as the world should, they believe her, and that was it. Johnny Depp kept it classy. He was quiet throughout most of the things. He did, through a rep, say that it wasn't true, but didn't say anything. Stuff was leaking, mostly from like making her look positive, but no one questioned it, or most people didn't question it. Certainly the media didn't.
Right.
And then this past week, Johnny Depp is in the middle of a defamation lawsuit against her, saying that all her claims were false. And so all of these documents are getting leaked right now. And this past week, we have audio of her having a conversation with Johnny Depp where she's saying, no one is going to believe you. No one is going to believe you. If you tell someone that I'm the one who's beating on you, that I'm putting on makeup just to take photos showing you, no one's going to believe you because you're Johnny Depp, you're a big man, and I was 115 at the time. and more audio. Like that was like the biggest, like crazy. But before that, all these little conversations were coming out where I think it was part of like their therapy that they recorded conversations. And it's just more of that stuff where she's saying she's like vicious, angry at him because when they have arguments and she starts getting physical, he walks away. And that enrages her more. And so those are the conversations that we're overhearing, is her admitting, or her using her own words, saying that she's the one who gets physical and gets physical, and she gets even more angry when he tries to walk away, and that is like when it's peak physical between them, because he's trying to leave and she's trying to prevent him from leaving. And she there were moments where she was like, well, you're physical too, you hit back, and he says, I was pushing you off me. So if you go by these conversations, it looks like Johnny was the victim the whole time. And if
whoa,
and let me tell you how canceled people were ready. How
go to her Instagram right now.
He got.
All the like. Oh yeah, he got. I mean, terrible, because that's what you do.
As he should have, again, like you said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just true. Yeah. But I'm just like,
wow.
And so here's the thing, like it's not. So if you go to her Instagram page, all her recent photos have like 100,000 comments on it, which she's deleting, by the way. But it's people, rightfully upset at her because she destroyed. I mean, he got kicked out of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. He couldn't, hasn't been working very much because who wants to hire a domestic abuser? No one. And so he hasn't been working, and he hasn't been out in the spotlight. Like he was a beloved actor. So since then, people haven't been working with him, and people are upset about it. And so like the real reason why people are upset, or why I am upset about the situation, is that because now, even if you look at those comments, you are seeing people saying, see, this is why we have to question when women come out and say that
what I was
abused.
waiting to
and
say.
Now,
yep.
Like women don't come out already because they know that they will be doubted.
Yep.
And they don't even have the evidence that Johnny Depp has with like the audio and so now it's even more of a reason why people are not going to come forward, because they're going to be doubted. And now people are like, well, remember the Johnny Depp case? Now we can't trust that this, like, what do you have? And so it's like really messed up.
And it's unfortunate. I think that last point for me is the point that really hits home, because like at the end of the day, right, he's Johnny Depp, he'll be okay. She's like, they'll be all right, but like, especially people who are in situations like this, who often, and let alone a celebrity, right? Like who don't feel comfortable coming out. These big celebrity cases become the standard, and there's already such a hard time, even with, I'm thinking about Harvey Weinstein right now in my head, and like what his lawyer had said earlier this week about how like women put themselves in the position, and she's smart, so she would never put herself in the position to be sexually assaulted, because apparently that's a choice people make. And it is such a bad example and such bad timing when we are fighting cases like that, to have a story like this come out. And at first when you were telling the story, I was like, oh, but maybe they took her audio out of context, and what she's saying to him is like, oh, if you are going to tell people that I'm lying, no one's going to believe you because XYZ reasons you listed. But it doesn't sound like that's the case. It sounds like there's other audio in which she incriminates herself.
And there's also video that hasn't been leaked yet, but you can read when people submit all that, you can tell what's been provided by the attorneys. There's supposedly like 80 files of audio and video. There are her texts that came out like 2 weeks ago, texts from her parents texting Johnny saying, we wish you guys could just figure this out. And he's like, how? She's accusing me of the worst thing. He's like, we love you. We want you to work this out. Her mom saying, I wish we could adopt you. And then if you put it into context, that this is just when she's gone to the police to say he's abusing me, I need a protective order, what parent
would be
in
like,
their right mind would be reaching out to him saying, we wish you could work it out? Like, I know if my daughter had ever had an interaction, like that guy would be dead to me, obviously.
Right.
Or that person would be dead to me, obviously. But
so you think they knew what she was doing?
I think from the looks of it, they knew. It doesn't look like they believed that she was being abused. And they talk about a penthouse, that it's all because she wanted to keep the penthouse during the divorce. Like, it's bad, guys. It's bad. And of course, yes, we don't know the ins and outs of people's relationships, but we can only go by what we see and hear. And these are her words, her parents' words. And
that's crazy.
oh, she cut a piece of his finger off.
What?
Okay.
During a fight.
All right, this is just crazy.
Oh, wait. I'm laughing. It's not funny, but I'm thinking about Edward Scissorhands.
She like, so she's like, it comes out in the
crazy.
audio where she like chucks stuff at him, like pots and pans and stuff like that. And she threw something and the glass cut his finger. And there's photos of him at the hospital, photos of his finger.
Okay,
it's like
this is
Wow.
this shit. You know what it is? It's
wild.
ratchet.
And
nah,
let's not-
this
That's a
shit.
plot
That's
twist,
ratchet.
yo.
See,
And it's
celebrities
like
could be
she used the
ratchet.
Me Too movement that whole time.
This is what I'm saying.
She wrote this like essay for a magazine about how she's a survivor and all
There we
that.
go.
She's a
no.
women's
She's a
rights
psycho.
ambassador for the UN currently, and so people like it's bad.
Nah, that sounds crazy.
It's like it sucks because there's evidence. Because like that, like there's the little voice in me that's like, be sure that she's fully not lying. But you keep talking, and I'm like, it's so it's clear. It is what it is. You have to call it what it is. It's really, really unfortunate when people do that. You're taking away from someone's platform in order for your own selfish gain, and it is just so utterly disrespectful. I mean, I've worked with. I used to be a youth developer, and I used to have a lot of students who lived in homes where domestic violence was a very big thing, and like you meet these women, these mothers, and like the amount of like work and sacrifice and fear that they live in, like for you to try to co-opt that, all for what? Like get your penthouse, and to me it's like, all right, get your penthouse somewhere else or some other way. Like think of something else to get what you want. Don't use somebody else's platform. This is not good.
And like you said, at the end of the day,
Not
she's gonna be fine because she's a beautiful
Girl.
actress that's getting booked. She's in Aquaman, which of course there's a petition to get her recast and for L'Oreal to stop working with her. If you go to, I forget where it's on, but
I don't know.
like she
I'm
was
not
gonna
here
be fine
for
no
it.
matter what. But
Poor John. Now I feel low key bad because I will out myself. I was definitely one of the people I was like, I don't care how much I love Johnny Depp. He want to put hands on people. Fuck Johnny Depp. Fuck his movie. I haven't seen or supported a Johnny Depp anything in a really long. I was upset that he was in Fantastic Beasts. Like I'm a huge Harry Potter, and I'm like, what the fuck? They throw him and nobody wants him now. They want to just fucking throw him on Harry Potter shit. Fuck out of here. Like I was like really like really upset because I do think that like the only way to affect changes in these areas is to have an air of intolerance, especially as consumers. Like especially as consumers. Who was it? We had someone on one of the episodes, and I was saying like, yes, there is the responsibility and stuff that we can put onto like, you know, the artist or their, you know, producers, managers, whatever, or we can just stop fucking with them, and all the work they do is to put their hands in our pockets. So if we're like, nah, then that's really the way to do it. And like it didn't fully work to the point where like Johnny Depp like completely got zero work, but it worked enough that Johnny Depp has not been relevant. He has not been relevant. In fact, Robert Downey Jr., who has had like, you know, a comeback moment from his past issues, and like I was so surprised when they had him as Dr. Dolittle, because I was just like, oh, that's a role that Johnny Depp would easily, because Johnny Depp always gets these like esoteric like characters, and the first thing I thought was like, oh, look at Robert Downey because he's been Iron Man and he hasn't done shit for a while, so everybody's forgotten his shit, and so everybody loves Robert Downey but hates Johnny Depp. But I'm interested to see what his career is gonna look like after all of this. Watch him be in mad movies again. Mad because he's talented. People like working with Johnny Depp.
You know what's crazy, and I don't know if I'm wrong for thinking this, but while you were saying the story and as we've been talking about it, one of the things that I thought was, wow, like whoever Johnny Depp's PR person is must be really fucking good for him to like have let. Like for him, because when you first said the story, like you said that he handled it, you know, professionally,
He was quiet,
and he was quiet. He let it happen. That was 2 years ago,
Right.
and now 2 years later, he's handling this like defamation and allowing all this stuff to come out. It's almost kind of like a smart move. I feel like because if he would have tried to do this when she was,
people would have been down.
they would have.
The
so
evidence
I don't know
gathering,
how
though.
it's getting leaked, But like, I feel like if it was coming from him directly, like it would have been leaked a long time ago. It would have been leaked like as soon as it was happening. And one of the conversations that was leaked, one of the audio,
he's in control of it.
I don't think so, but who knows? I mean, it might be their
I don't think so because he's also
like
Johnny Depp, and if he wanted to get interviews, like he could have gone to anybody and be like, "I have an interview for you.
Exactly.
I'm gonna shout this bitch out," and he didn't.
One of the audios that was leaked is a conversation that he had with her, right? And he's like, "Amber, I love you. I don't want to do this. If you want to go to court, you can do what you want to do, but I want to handle this between us. I want us to do it right. If we go to court, everything comes out." And like the conversation actually really, really sad. Really, really sad. And all she says is like, "My reputation, people are talking about me. People are calling me a gold digger. I have to defend myself. I have to." So you see that it's her, that she built this whole thing because when the divorce started happening, people were like wondering, well, this is, this young up and coming actress.
Wow.
And this big movie star. And so she felt like she had to go all in. And so that conversation that he's having, it's really heartbreaking, where he's like, "I want to, like, let's do this." Like, you could see that he's like, "I'll give you whatever you want. Just like, let's handle it. I don't want us to get hurt." And then in the end, he's like finally frustrated. And he's like, "I'm finally seeing that the person I'm in love with was never there." And so you feel like, and so there's a line where
Who's
he's
gonna
like,
write this movie?
It is a movie.
Who's gonna write this one? Yeah, no, this I think that piece though, like just this point about like, oh, well, she was getting called a gold digger and stuff, that just goes to show you that as much as we think our comments and the commentary that people make on celebrity lives don't affect them because they're rich and quote unquote untouchable, people are people, man. That like, like like the fact that she felt she needed to make up a story to justify what I guess apparently was just a divorce for the sake of divorce for other reasons that are emotional. That's for her to pull a Jussie Smollett. Well, I always forget. Yeah, I don't even know if that's how we say.
Smollett.
Is it? And who also, by the way, just got did he get indicted? Was
I think
it?
So,
yeah. For what he had done. It feels like she just pulled one of those. She staged it. Wow. She staged it. Bueno, I'm gonna keep up with the story now.
Oh, and I have to just say that I am not this huge Johnny Depp fan. I probably have watched
in case the story turns.
No, I'm saying like I'm like coming from the place of like I never believed her. Like I was not that person. Once again, I was someone who was like, oh my God, this is terrible. But like I'm not like one of those stans that's like watched every movie and so I automatically on his camp. No, I had no dog in this fight.
It's scary too because like and I'll just end with this. Like I met someone who used to do the music for the Cosby Show, and told me this very long, elaborate story that I won't take up the time to tell now. But like he is very, very certain that Bill Cosby is innocent. And he's like, there are so many. And I'm not saying I believe this. Let me be real clear. I am not saying that Bill Cosby is innocent of the crimes with which he is serving time for. Mm-hmm. I had a conversation with somebody who very strongly believes, based off of the evidence they have in their personal relationship with Camille, his wife, that this whole thing was a huge setup because what was coming, and this has been sort of said in papers before, but he's like, you do not understand the scale of the NBC deal we were about to have to bring back the Cosby Show, and was about to be some crazy shit, and people did not want him to have that, and thus the explosion of the stories and the timing, and the fact that Harvey Weinstein and all these things were around was perfect. I don't know that I believe that. I'm just saying that stories like these then start to make me feel like, fuck, like, what do we know? And what don't we know? Like, what's true and what's not true? And you never know. But I still rather be supportive of the side of the victim first because, knowing survivors and having experiences myself, I know better. Mm-hmm. Pero, imagine what would happen if we found out that Bill Cosby was framed. The world would... Anywho.
I definitely want to taste that. Oh my God.
Okay, and now we are at our plate of the day. Back in the day, raising children in today's world with old school norms. So one of my biggest fears in life actually is becoming a mother. Because
rightfully so.
I don't know that, like, I think about being a mother very much from the lens with which, like, my mother parented me, and I have a dope mom. My mom is an excellent mother, but she literally, like, that's what she did with her life. Like, she was a mother. So down to every granular detail of her children, she was involved. She was supportive. You know what I mean? She, laid down the law very clear. And there's just certain aspects of her motherhood that I'm like, wow, I don't even think I have the time or emotional capacity to be this present for one child, let alone 5 that my mom has. You know what I mean? Like, and so I look at people like you who do have, you have your husband, you have your kids, you have your careers and your passions, and you're killing it. And I just like literally am like, oh my God, bowing down. Like, I think that is such a overlooked capability to have all those things together. But really, outside of even like my capability as a parent, I look at the world and I'm like, holy fuck, how do I navigate a world where my kid has YouTube in their hands, or has like the internet, and has access to so much information, maybe sometimes even before me. And like I have a niece that's 5 and one that's 11, and the 11-year-old is like on TikTok, right? And there's like all these challenges with music that's talking about, oh, sit pussy this and sucking dick this, and I can take that dick, and I'm just like, stop, and I'm freaking out. But anyway, I say all that to say, I that's just a third person perspective on what being a parent in 2020 is like. But like, give us a little bit of insight. What is it like being a parent in this day and age?
Like, I appreciate your words, but let me make this clear. No one is killing it. No one has it together. No one knows what they're doing. We are all just taking it day by day. That's the truth.
That's so funny. Like, no one that you say, like, no one is killing it. And I have no. I guess my closest experience to being a parent is being a teacher. And the other day in the classroom, I had a thought like, yo, I have no idea what I'm doing right now. But I gotta make it look like I know what I'm doing in front of these kids.
That's exactly it.
That's parenthood.
Exactly it. That's it. No one gives you, okay, this is how you do it. This is the path, because every parent is different. Even in a marriage, I parent one way. The other person can parent a different way. Every kid is different, so you have to parent them individually. It's not like one law for everybody. So you just have to do your best and take it day by day.
Yeah.
That's really it.
Yeah. What is pregnancy like?
So all pregnancies are also different. So my pregnancy with the first was different from the pregnancy with the second. I remember that with my first, I was very sick, terrible skin, my hair was falling out, and they say, oh, it's a girl because she's stealing your beauty.
Wow.
That was what my
Was it a
mom
girl?
told me. It was a girl.
Oh, yes.
The second one, much easier. Much easier. I wasn't that sick. I could not wash my face for a month, and you would never see a pimple on my face.
Wow.
My hair was full and silky. I had a girl.
Wow.
I had a girl too. So they're all just
girls.
different, and it just depends. Morning sickness is the worst. Oh my God, that's the worst. But I did enjoy my pregnancy.
Good.
I did.
Cool.
I
Good.
liked the feeling of like, it's weird because it's like you're never alone.
Yeah.
And you start bonding then. When you feel a kick, like it's really a cool experience. So I really
did you
enjoy
talk
my
to the
pregnancy.
baby in the belly? Like,
Oh,
all right,
yeah.
calm down.
Of course.
All right, relax.
when they're like kicking you in the kidney, you're like, okay, all right, I got it. Oh yeah, like yeah.
And you were telling us a little earlier how different your 2 girls are and how you're
my
trying to
God.
figure out your toddler right now.
Oh my
Tell us a
God.
little bit more.
They're night and day. So I was saying that my oldest, who's 8 now, my mom calls her Pan de Dios because she's just like, she's wonderful. She's so sweet. She's so calm. She's an artist, so she'll sit there and draw and like the sweetest kid. The other one is a terrorist. She is 2. She's 2 and she's terrible. She's crazy. She's loud.
But she gave you an easy pregnancy, though.
Well,
that was her
You
time.
saw that silky hair?
yeah, that's how it is. She's like, here it goes. This is what you get now. This is what you get. Oh my gosh, she's nuts. And so it's hard for me to figure out because you have to start disciplining them now. right? Because they're 2, and this is when they like start throwing stuff. And like my first daughter, Catalina, she never did anything. I put her in timeout twice in her whole life. Clara, it's constant. It's constant. She's drawing on my walls. She's chucking stuff. She gets angry. She hits. So I don't hit her back, because how am I going to teach her not to hit while I'm hitting her? So that's not how I discipline. So I'm trying to figure out how to discipline her, because, she will throw stuff and hit, and I don't want to hit her back. I don't want to. Can't spank her, because how I'm going to teach her not to hit while I'm hitting her.
Right.
So that's not the route that I need to go with her. So I do timeout. But when I tell her timeout, she goes and fixes her own corner, and she'll like go move the chairs out of the way and go stand there by herself. So I'm like, how do I discipline this girl? What am I going to do? I don't know. And that's something that I'm in the process of figuring out.
Yeah.
Hopefully she grows out of this stage, and as she matures and she realizes I can't hit people, and I can't chuck stuff at them.
So I think that idea is because I feel like we come from that mindset of like, when we hear a crying baby, a loud baby, we're like always thinking kind of like just a little papao, would get them.
Yeah, I definitely
in line.
Yeah.
So I say that to say, relating back to like this idea of like parenting in 2020 versus like what our parents did. Did your parents ever hit you, or did you get a papao?
I mean, I was a good girl. So I probably, not that many times, I don't remember like a big pow moment. I'm not opposed to pow, because again, it's a cultural thing. That's how we grew up. So I just feel like you need to know your kid. If your kid needs a pow and you're not like hurting them, you're not bruising them, you're not like really abusing your then child. I don't see a problem with it. It's just like, you need to know your kid. And I feel like this one, if I hit her, she's gonna be like, you're hitting me, I'm gonna hit you back.
Right.
So I feel like you need to like know your kid. I feel you're talking about your mom. My mom was also super cool and progressive and liberal in the way that she brought me up, but I feel like it's because she knew who I was. Like, I was a kid who was always in my room reading a book or watching a movie, and so she was like, go out. Like, I have a crazy story. I'm a huge Shakira fan. We were talking about that earlier. And I went with my friends in high school and stood outside of Saturday Night Live because I wanted to get into that taping. Unfortunately, it was the taping that Derek Jeter was also in. So it was like all these Yankee fans. And it was like the 3 of us with our Colombian flags trying to get in. We didn't get in. But I saw this guy walking out with a Shakira tour, like this chain thing. And so I went up to them. I was like, listen, we're the only Shakira fans here. Is there any way you can help us get in? And he said, you know what? Let me go upstairs and see. He comes back down and said, I'm really sorry, I can't bring you girls in, but listen, I'm Shakira's brother. And if you want, we're staying at this hotel. If you want to come by tomorrow before we leave, she'll sign all your stuff. And so I freaked out and went home. My mom's like, yeah, go. That's great. Meanwhile, my other friends were like, oh, yeah, we asked our parents if I could go meet this strange man at a hotel, and for some reason, they said no. Which
case is that I didn't even think about it that way.
I didn't.
So I was the only one that went. So I went and met this stranger at a hotel, and thankfully, it was Shakira's brother. Shakira was there. She signed all my stuff. She signed all my friends' stuff.
Oh, my God, I'm so jealous of you right now.
It was like one of the most amazing experiences. But I put myself in that situation, and if my daughter was like, can I do this? I'd be like, hell no. Are you insane? My mom let me go to Chile with my best friend when I was a senior in high school by ourselves. And we were staying with her family, but at one point we took a road trip by ourselves, got on a bus to go to Pablo Neruda's house, which is like 8 hours away from where we were. And I'm like, if my daughter said that, I would have freaked out. Like that, like I tell my daughter, like, you want to go away for college? That's fine. I'm coming with you. You are not going to be by yourself till you're like 45.
Oh my goodness.
But wow. And where do you think that comes from? Like moms, because like my mom was cool, but my mom is also that mom who was like, when I was applying to college, she was like, yeah, aplica donde tú sabes, tú eres la que sabe, tú eres la que sabe. And when I'd be like, oh, California, and naming all these things, pero tan lejos, no, tú no puedes ir tan lejos. And like, and it like really like, so at what moments provoke that momness in you where it's like you're torn between what you want for your kid versus like what your kid wants?
I am trying to be that parent that will let my kid be who they are. And it is quite hard. Like right now we're in a situation where she got accepted to the School of American Ballet, which is very prestigious, right? And so she just did her first year, and she's done ballet since she was like 3 or 4.
Wow.
So for me, it's like that moment like, wow, this is amazing. I now recognize it's not her thing. It's not her thing. And so this is her second.
Not her thing as in she's not excited
excited about it. She loves art.
Yeah.
Art, she will draw all day. We have her in art classes too, and that's like what she comes home and she's not coming home and doing plies.
Right.
Like, she's coming home and drawing. She's coming home and like painting. So
options. Sorry.
so I kind of talked her into coming back the second year. She's in her second year now because I realized that it's a lot. It's a lot for me too to come from Queens into the city to go take this class twice a week.
Right.
And so I realized that one of the big issues that she was having is like she felt like she didn't have enough time when she got home. Like she had to like do her homework, eat, go to bed. You know. So I was like, if we let you stay up a little bit longer, would that help with your decisions? I know that I was like talking her into it. So I talked her into it. I was negotiating and I got her to do this year. But now I sit down, I'm like, this is just not her thing. So as much as I love to say, I'd love to see her in her little tutu. I would love to see her in point shoes. I would love to see her on the stage at Lincoln Center. It's not her thing, so I need to step back and just say, if you don't want to do it, you don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I think that's important, but I also think that you talking her into it is a good thing because so many times, like, when it comes to, like, young students who are, like, exploring the arts and stuff like that, they don't give it the chance to figure out if it's their thing or not, you know? And so many parents are so quick to allow them to quit that they don't learn the discipline of dedicating yourself to it and stuff like that. So I think that even though you did have to talk her into the second year and now you're coming to terms with the fact that it's not her thing, I think it matters more the decision that you're going to make now.
Yeah.
Knowing this instead of like trying to force her to do it.
Yeah, and with your like sort of you talked about how your mom, was liberal and very supportive. What other ways do you find that you mimic the way your mom parented you with your daughters?
Well, it's difficult to say because I had that immigrant. I was raised by an immigrant, right? So she worked day and night. So when I say my parents, I'm really talking about my mom and my aunt. My aunt had a big hand in raising me because she was the one that I would come home to in the day. So my aunt was like the dad, the like sit down and eat, do your homework. My mom was the more liberal person, but she had to work all day. So she wasn't physically around during the week a ton, but she was super supportive in everything that I did. Yeah. And what I do find myself like being my mom with Catalina is like her school projects. When I had a school project, my mom went all out on my projects. Like I remember one where it was like hat day and you had to decorate a hat. Well, she went out and like bought me this straw hat. We put like all these little birds on it and like little nests and like crazy. And I have those moments where Catalina comes home with a project and I was like, all right, let's do this. Let's go all out. And so in that I can see my mom in that for sure. But I'm trying. Again, it just depends on the kid. And with Catalina, I know that I can't be like that aggressive, pushy person because it's not for her.
Because it's not for her. How do you manage having kids that live in an age of social media and the internet in the way that we didn't have? Because we had it, but like AIM is harmless compared to some of the shit going on.
And we got in trouble in AIM too.
Right. And even on AIM, we got in trouble. So how do you manage that? And I know they're younger, but like even at a young age, like my niece knew how to use an iPad by 3. She was like,
oh yeah, definitely, for sure. It's hard because they will ask for it. They want to be on it. Like right now, my daughter's into like these online games, and I have to like shut the chats off. So it's just about like taking those extra steps of checking out the security and monitoring them. Always monitor. Like even now, there was this big thing about YouTube has all those rules now for kids content.
Like
it's because there's so many crazy videos that you think are fine, but when you really look at them, they're crazy.
Yeah.
And they all sorts of weird stuff. So you have to monitor what they're doing.
Yeah.
So that's what she can be on the tablet 20 minutes for 3 times a day, and I'm next to her, and we compromise, like half the time has to be educational and then the other time can be play.
Right.
And so it's just monitoring, taking those extra steps because you know what's out there.
Yeah, and it is easy for parents to just be like, you know, like go when they go out to eat and stuff, to just be like, here's the phone, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. You want Peppa Pig? You want this? You want?
Yeah. No, and do you find that do you find that that is a solution for you when you are like going out or like doing
absolutely.
activity?
Oh, thank God. Thank God for streaming videos. Thank goodness for them, because otherwise I would never have a conversation with my husband.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder what we did. Like I try to go back and think about it. What were we doing?
I
Game Boys? Game Boy?
I had a very creative madrina. Like she used to create games out of the fucking magazines that she would bring along with her. So she would like find this word and all the articles.
My
like
gosh.
I know that my parents. I also grew up with like a family of teachers, so like they were good at like giving you that little
good tips,
side activity.
I think like because all I can remember was being in the mix. I was very mixy as a kid, and I was listening to all the bochinche, and I was very invested in all. I mean, that's probably why I talk so much now and act. I like by the time I was 5, I'd be like, oh no, mami, porque tú viste que ella hizo esto. No, yo oí que tú le dijiste a tía que ella está gorda, pero sí, ella se comió 3 like,
Oh my
like you know, like, and I'd be the one like ensuing the gossip and making, and then being in front of them and being like, pero tú tienes que rebajar, niña, tú no puedes comerte 3 like, and like my mom would like slap, like, bitch, like shut the fuck up, because I'd be the one spilling the tea because I didn't have an iPad in my hand. That's what I had to entertain me. But like I see it with my nieces too, where like they've requested. It's almost like it's a demand. Like they already know the jig. We're about to be in this adult thing. Give me my shit, like, you know. But I worry, like, then you have those parents who are very good at like limiting their kids' engagement with that stuff, and then it makes me feel like shit. I feel like I would very easily put like technology in front of my kid's face and be like, all right, I think be entertained.
You shouldn't, like, the mommy shaming stuff that happens. It's like, you do whatever you want to do with your kid. Like, you figure it out what's right for you. And don't worry about what anyone else thinks. Like, if right now, if you, for your sanity, for the sake of your marriage, that you need to have a conversation, like, for the sake of your sanity in your marriage, if you need to hand an iPad over so that you can have, like, 30 minutes, an hour to yourself, go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
Go ahead and do it. Don't worry about what anyone else is doing. You just do what you got to do. And so that's where I am. I try to limit it. I mostly try to limit the time on the tablet because of her eyesight, because that's a thing now where most kids today need glasses because they're all nearsighted, because they're all looking at this. Yeah. Like, just like a foot in front of them, right? Yeah. So that's why I'm doing it mostly, because otherwise, you know, if I need to have a conversation with my husband, even if it's just like, how was your day, honey? Right. Then I'm going to hand it off to her.
Right. Yeah. So moving away from the kids and talking about you and your time for you to have Jessica time or Jessica time with hubby, like how do you make time for that and Domesticated Me all in one?
So it's very hard. Me and husband time happens because of grandma. Thank God for grandma. I love my mom. She's the best. And she lives close. Like, in that sense, we're like a traditional Latin family because she's right by us. I live 20 blocks from the house that I grew up in. Nice. I moved her closer when she sold her house. She's like 4 blocks from us. Wow. So on the weekends, if I need time to go to the gym with my husband or just like a night out, I can drop the kids off and they're hanging out with grandma and we have that time to ourselves. The work during the week is much harder. And like I said, like people don't, like if you think people have it together, like no one has it together. So I am, like there are nights where I have to stay up 2, 3 o'clock in the morning because I can't film during the day. During the day I have my little one. Wow. Then I have like school pickup and lunch and this and that. And so I can't do stuff during dinner time because I need to talk to my husband. He needs attention too. And I want to know about his day and he wants to know about mine. Yeah. So I have to wait for everyone to be in bed so that I could put on my makeup, set up my camera, and film.
Putting on a full face of makeup at 2 in the morning. Oh my god.
Wow. Yeah. So it's not easy, but you do what you gotta do. If it's important to you, if it's your passion, if you're not in it because, I want to get a check or I want free makeup, if it's truly because it's something that you need to do for yourself because you love it, then you just figure it out.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Cool. So if you had one piece of advice for parents out there who are either looking to start something of a passion project similar to Domesticated Me, or are just looking to make some time for themselves in general, what's a piece of advice do you have?
So I think for me, scheduling is everything. That's what you need to figure out first. Like it's easier said than done because I'm not great at it either. But you have to figure out a schedule for yourself. How much time do you have to do this? How much time do you need to do this?
Right.
When and where can I do this? That's like the most important thing. Once you have that down, then things become easier because you already have like a set plan of how things get done. But I will say is that, especially for people, I don't know how many people listen in who want to be creators themselves. My first thing is to reflect and say, why are you doing this?
Right.
Do you really want to do this because it's something that you're into, or are you doing this because you see people are getting free stuff and you want free stuff? You see people making crazy money and you want the crazy money. Like if it's for that, it's not worth it. This is work. It is work.
Tell them again. You hear that?
This is work.
Yes.
You see a final project and you think all they did was put a plate of food in front of them on top of marble and they took a photo and that's all what their day is. No, it's work. Like I can tell you that. Like there have been moments where I'm in my office at 2:00 in the morning and thinking like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? I need to sleep. I need to do this. I have this stuff to do for my family. I have this stuff to do for my work. Like I've had those moments more than once where I'm like, maybe I shouldn't do this anymore.
Right.
But it's my passion that keeps me going because I am passionate about it, because I do love it, because I do enjoy it, because I can't imagine my life without this part of it existing. So
yeah, no, that's some really great advice. This shit is not for the faint of heart, honestly. Like this work is it's a lot. And I think that because I am still not a parent, I'm also not married, and I see how much work it is now, and I love it so much, that sort of like undeniable love and attachment you have to the work. That's where I'm like, wow, can I possibly do both, all three, be married, have kids, and do this? But honestly, people like you are inspiring, even if you know, you don't have it as together as you appear. The fact that there could even be the appearance of that, honestly, is something to commend in itself. So
thank you.
Yeah, it's, you know, thank you so much for being with us today.
Word. Shout out to your hustle.
Thanks for getting me out of the house, guys.
Yes.
Absolutely. So tell us any shout outs, any cool stuff you have coming up we should look out for, and what social media platforms can we find you on?
I am on Instagram. I'm on Twitter at Jessica Y. Flores. Twitter is my political outlet. If you're into politics and what's going on in the world, that's where you want to find me. If you more are into the content and the travel and beauty and stuff, check out my Instagram and my YouTube channel, youtube.com/domesticatedme. I have a trip to Disney coming up. So if you guys are interested in Disney content, like I'll have a bunch of posts up for that.
Nice.
Travel in general, if you're interested in New Orleans, definitely come to my website, domesticatedme.com, because I have a lot of tips and recommendations for New Orleans.
Yes, amazing. Yes. Skittles, where can they find us?
You can find us at Ladies Who Bruncher on Instagram, at Ladies Who Bruncher on YouTube, Ladies Bruncher on Twitter, and on all your favorite streaming platforms.
Yes. Thanks so much, guys. And until next time, bronche. Bronche. That's how we say brunch.
Here's to the ladies who stay busy with their lunch.
You want that bochinche?
Sáquete con pinche. You hear what they said?
Not too busy, glasses clinking.
Aquí en esta mesa se respeta como ñón.
Si la copa está llena, yo te doy la bendición.
So what if we get ratchet?
We from the Bronx.
That's it.
Don't get it twisted.
We be going to Manhattan. Be a queen.
Be a boss.
Ladies who brunch and poppin' off.
Hey.